Hey, overcomers. I hope you're all having an amazing day. For those of you that are new here to be an overcomer, this is where you come to be inspired and empowered to walk by faith and use the gift of imagination to create the life you desire. So, overcomers, today's message is using the power of your imagination to create your reality. And I want to read to you. First, I'm going to start from the Bible. I'm reading from the Christian Standard Bible, and I'm starting with Genesis chapter 12, verse 1. And the word says, "The Lord said to Abram, 'Go out from your land, your relatives, and your father's house, to the land that I will show you. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you. I will curse anyone who treats you with contempt, and all the peoples on earth will be blessed through you.'" So Abram went as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. He took his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, all the possessions they had accumulated, and the people they had acquired in Haran, and they set out for the land of Canaan. When they came to the land of Canaan, Abram passed through the land to the site of Shechem at the oak of Moreh. At the time, the Canaanites were in the land. The Lord appeared to Abram, and he said, "To your offspring, I will give you this land." So he built an altar there to the Lord who had appeared to him. From there, he moved onto the hill country east of Bethel and pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. He built an altar to the Lord there, and he called on the name of the Lord. So basically, we read here in Genesis how the Lord called Abram. Eventually, we learned that his name was changed to Abraham, and his wife Sarai her name was changed to Sarah. So God made a promise. He said, basically, "I'm going to make your name great." He said, "Go out from the land, leave your family, leave what is familiar, and go to the place that I will show you." So now I want to read to you from Catherine Ponder's book, The Prosperity Secrets of the Ages. And she also referenced Abraham. I also love her work too because she referenced the Bible. And in chapter 8, she writes, "In the 12th chapter of Genesis, you meet the man who became the Bible's first millionaire. Abram, later called Abraham. From him, you can learn certain ancient secrets that can lead to your own greater wealth. Abraham's life began in the Babylonian city of Ur. Historians tell us that the Babylonians were very advanced in many ways, both by their ingenious techniques in agriculture, commerce, and finance. Babylon citizens became the richest of their era. They understood financial principles through which they developed ideas for insurance, savings, home ownership, and investments that are considered sound and worthwhile by financiers today. Into this advanced and prosperous civilization, Abraham was born and grew to adulthood. Even later in Canaan, Abraham was still under the influence of the Babylonian government. The story of Abraham begins when the Lord told him to get out of his old country and go to a new land, which the Lord would show him, a land in which the Lord promised to bless him and make him great. And that's from Genesis 12, 1 and 2. When you want to experience success in life, you need to get out of the old country or an old state of mind. You leave the old country as you release negative thought patterns, old limited ideas and attitudes, doubts, fears, resentments, prejudices, criticisms. Sometimes it is even necessary to release old relationships and old ways of living too, if they stand in the way of a higher viewpoint that is necessary for a better way of life. You rise out of an old set of circumstances into greater good when you dare to boldly try a new uplifting point of view. So basically, it goes on and talks about Lot and Abraham and how basically when Abraham goes to the land and Lot, and It seems, when you read in the word, it seems that Lot basically ends up getting the upper hand. Okay? And I'm going to continue reading what she says. When it seems that someone has grabbed your good or cheated you, when it seems that someone else has gotten the best in a situation and you have gotten the worst, or when it seems that success constantly evades you, that is the time for you to look up from the rough circumstances where you are and picture your good in a big way. For all that you see will be given you. And basically, that's what God told Abraham. He says, as much as the stars are in the sky, that is what I will give you. And he says, as numerous as the stars are in the sky. And we know that the stars in the sky are numerous, and Abraham's descendants would be great. And also here, it talks about when you're in a certain circumstance, that you need to look up from that circumstance and picture a better circumstance. How do you do that? You do that by using the power of your mind. Your mind's eye. Okay, we have a natural set of eyes. Thank God for the natural set of eyes. But the Lord also has given us our mind's eye. And through your thoughts, that's how you create your life. Through your thoughts, that's how you direct and steer your life towards the things that you want. Okay, and I just want to read this last paragraph. Psychologists tell us that the picturing power of the mind is one of man's strongest powers for success. They say that any picture firmly held in mind is bound to come forth as a result. How often have you pictured failure and gotten it, where you might just as easily have pictured success and produced it? Your picturing power is one of your greatest success powers. You should boldly use it to create whatever you want in life. Image what you want instead of what you do not want, because what you constantly image, you will get. I want to read that last part. Image what you want instead of what you do not want, because what you constantly image, you will get. Whatever you constantly focus on, whatever you constantly imagine, you will get. It's only a matter of time. And this is why, and I feel like sometimes it's like so on repeat, and I'm going to continue to say this. This is why the world and its programming and the headlines and everything that's happening, it's basically to keep you distracted from your purpose, so that you can never quiet your mind and still your mind to hear the downloads, to get, instruction from God. The word says, be still and know that I am God. But in a world that is so noisy, sometimes it can be difficult to get quiet. And this is why I encourage you to take time out of your day, even if it's just 10 minutes, to quiet your mind and focus on the things that you want to create in life. Because as you allow those images to form in your mind, somehow, some way, on a way that we do not know how, okay, it will happen. Neville Goddard says if it takes 10,000 or 100,000, how many ever people it takes to aid in your manifestation, it will come to you. This is why the word says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. This is why it says, call those things that be not as though they are. In Job 22:28, you shall decree a thing and it shall be established. Now, the amazing thing in the word of God in Genesis, when God told Abraham to get away from everything that's familiar, he probably did so because often the things that are familiar, when we stay in the same circles, doing the same thing year after year after year after year on repeat, you just stay in the same cycle. And sometimes the things that are familiar, it keeps you stuck. This is why I encourage you, like, maybe you might need to join a networking group, okay? Like, I think about a group that I'm a part of, and it's a group of women. Some are entrepreneurs, some are businesswomen, some are teachers like myself. And everyone though, even though we come from different walks of life, we're all about something, okay? Like moving upward, all about elevation and moving forward and encouragement. And so basically the Lord was telling Abraham to get away from everything that is familiar, because often the things that are familiar, it's not going to help you grow. And this is why, if you think about, say, people who like a negative situation, people that are going through a program to help them like with addiction, right? I don't know personally about this. I don't know anybody personally that's walking through this. I know that's a great, a serious challenge. But often they tell them like, don't visit familiar places. Like a person who may drink a lot, they have no business going to a bar or being at a party where there's alcohol being served and it's alcohol in abundance. They need to break away from that. Okay? A person, say, that is overweight and they're trying to lose weight, they need to not place themselves in situations where they're going to be tempted to overeat. So maybe if, say, there's a party and there's like, I don't know, like a whole table of baked goods and desserts and candies and sweets, they may have to literally remove themselves from that situation so that they don't get tempted to eat those cakes and sweets and things like that. So a lot of times when people are trying to make a change in your life, it requires a change in you. We know the definition of insanity. It says doing things the same way, but expecting a different result. So this is why God told Abraham, get away from your kinfolk, go out from that country, and you're going to go to a land where I will show you. The Lord will direct you on what to do when there's something new for you to do. If there's like a business, he may say, you know what, join this networking group where you can connect with these other people. If it's going back to school, you may get like the inspiration to go visit a certain college or a certain university and get information and go on a tour or speak to, go to the admissions office and ask information about getting into that school. Whatever it is, you'll be led to do it. But the main thing is that it all starts in your mind. Whatever you decide on will be done. Whatever you focus on will be done. And this is why the word says to take captive every thought. Because a lot of times the thoughts, the messaging, the programming that's out in the world, it's not for you. It's not for your benefit. It's to keep you stuck and stagnant and to keep you in fear and to dumb you down and to make you feel helpless and like you're a limited being. When you were created in the image of God, you are a limitless being. There's nothing you cannot do. There's nothing you cannot have. If you see it in your mind, you will see it in the world. But the key is daily deciding that this is what you want and to have your mind focus on the things that you want to create in your life. This is where you must be intentional because your imagination, it creates reality. Imagination creates reality. So once you really understand that and you start to see evidence of the things that you've imagined come true, then you'll be encouraged to use your imagination. You will be encouraged to walk by faith and not by sight. That's what the word says, to walk by faith and not by sight, because often the things that we see in the natural are contrary to our vision, to our dreams, to our goals. So I just hope this encouraged you today. I hope you feel blessed by it. Thank you so much for being here. I encourage, I'm so thankful for all of you, and I hope you've been encouraged and inspired and empowered. And if you like this message, please share it, comment, subscribe, and always be an overcomer.